So we are on your chapter in your culinary book, chapter 9, that's on produce. And produce, we said, are those things that are grown from the ground, which include vegetables and fruit. In this chapter, which is section 3, we're going to be talking about fruit. Characteristics of fruit. So, fruit, which is produced by seed-bearing plants, is an essential part of your diet. So, fruit is really a good source of carbohydrates, fiber, vitamin C, vitamin A, and potassium. Although it's very low in sodium and fat and cholesterol, fruit is very high in fructose. Fructose is a sugar, a natural sugar. Fructose comes from the whole fruit, so it's less likely to be harmful as regular sugar. So fructose is a healthy sugar. It's not processed sugar, it's healthy sugar. So that's some good things about fruit. Selecting and handling fruit, fresh fruit. When you're purchasing fresh fruit, buy only what you will need for a short period of time, because fresh fruit does not last that long. So after they ripen, berries, grapes, and melons and fruits with pits should be used as soon as possible. Apples and citrus fruits and pears can be stored just a little bit longer. So when you have like oranges and apples, they last a little longer than those with pits in them. And so buy fruits that are in season for the best quality. Many characteristics indicate that a fruit is good. So fruit should be the normal size, and it should be heavy for its size and be plump. You can, touch it and have the correct color. And the pieces of the fruit should be free of blemishes, bruises, or cuts. If they have cuts in them or bruises or blemishes, don't buy them. And they should have no mildew on them, of course, or mold. Most underripe fruit will continue ripening if left at room temperature. So you can buy like bananas if they're not ripe and you can bring them at room temperature, and you can speed up the ripening if you put them in a paper bag. That will speed up the ripening of the fruit, make them ripen faster. So you check the fruit daily to see if over ripening is happening. If you put them in a bag, just don't leave them there. You got to check them because they may ripen really quick. And once the first fruit is ripe, then you could store it in the refrigerator if you need to. But do not wash fresh fruit until you are ready to eat it. So your apples can sit there and they're not washed, and then right before you eat the apple, you wash it. So that will retain vitamins too. Some types of fruit must be handled a specific way, like banana peels, for example, will turn brown very quickly if they're stored in the refrigerator. So bananas you would not want to put in the refrigerator. But however, if bananas become ripe and you're not ready to use them, you can put them in the refrigerator just to help them not overripe. So I guess either way, I never put bananas in the refrigerator. So fruits such as apples and avocados. Avocados are a fruit. Did you know that? Bet you didn't know that. Avocados are fruit, but apples, avocados, and bananas will turn brown after being cut. So as soon as you cut them, you're going to have to eat them or they'll turn brown. And this is known as enzymic browning, right here, enzymic browning. And to prevent this from happening, you dip the cut pieces of these fruits in citrus or pineapple juice. I didn't know that. If you cut an avocado and you're not going to use it right away, put some citrus or pineapple juice on it. It will keep it so it doesn't get brown. That's a good idea. So types of fruits. Besides fresh whole fruit that can be purchased, you still can get frozen fruit as a time, or canned fruit, or dried fruit. But frozen fruit is good. Look for the packages on the frozen fruit that are clean, frozen, and solid and undamaged. So you don't want to get a damaged frozen package. Frozen fruit can be frozen by itself or packed in syrup or sweetener. So when you get some frozen fruit, you have to look to see if they've added sugar or sweetener to it, which you may not want to have so much sugar in it. So if frozen fruit is thawed, it will not have the same texture or firmness as fresh fruit. But once you thaw it, the fruit should be stored in an airtight container or in the refrigerator to avoid refreezing. Don't refreeze it or thaw it again because the fruit will not be good. So Never thaw something out and refreeze fruit or even meat. So a large variety of canned fruit is available, and a lot of them are packed. If you go to canned fruit, you can look, they may be packed in water, they may be packed in juice, they may be packed in syrup or heavy syrup. So you look at and see, they may have a lot of sugar in them. So you look on those canned fruit to see what they're packed in. And you usually want to probably pick those that are lower in sugar. So fruit may be also be canned whole. You may have whole fruit or half fruits, half a fruit, or sliced or diced or even crushed. You have pineapple. You can have crushed pineapple, or you can have diced pineapple, or or fruit, or however. You can look and see how the pieces are, and whichever recipe you need. If you need diced, or if you need half, or how you need that. When purchasing, avoid any cans that have dents or bulges. Again, no leaks, because you can get botulism from that. It's terrible. And die, so you look on there to see and make sure there's no dents or leaks in the cans. Many types of fruit are preserved by drying, so they're dried fruit. So there's lots of different dried fruits. We have raisins, we have prunes, we have dates, we have cranberries, and we also have mango, kiwi, and pineapple can be dried. And so you can, after you open a package of dried fruit, make sure you put it in a tightly covered container, or it will not be fresh anymore. The fruit will actually get kind of, how does it get? Kind of like not so, get kind of more slimy, I say, Anyway, so dried fruit. So dried fruit, if you're going to cook it, it says you need to put it in water to rehydrate if you're going to use it as cooking, and it will make it plumper. Because they are dehydrated, the sugar, fiber, and nutrients in dried fruit are highly concentrated. So generally 1/2 cup of dried fruit equals 1 cup of fresh fruit. So with dried fruit, you're going to use less fruit than you would if you used fresh fruit. So the uses of fruit. It has many uses in preparing all different kinds of recipes. Fresh fruit or dried fruit is good for just healthy snacking, but fruit can also be added to meals in form. You can put it in salads, you can put in toppings and baked goods, and in desserts. A lot of fruit desserts can be served in many forms. It can be baked, like baked apples in a dessert, and cooked as raspberry sauce, as raspberries into cobblers or crispers or pies. And you can serve fruit dipped in chocolate, like chocolate-covered strawberries. Or you can use a filling or topping, strawberry shortcake for fruit toppings. If cooking with fruit, be careful not to overcook it. Overcooking fruit can cause it to lose its shape and texture, color, and flavor. So never overcook fruit. So let's look here. Food for thought. We're talking about fruit. And this is just this. I'm going to have you read this because it has to do with produce and the kind of, some farmers maximize by using fertilizer and insect repellents and stuff, and you want to have probably you would want to choose organic that do not use these insecticides and stuff. So basically it's telling about that anyway, so I'm not going to go over that whole thing on this area. It just tells how they're frozen and such. This here too. And shipped. That they ship by plane, truck, or boat. So this here you can read on your own. So let's go over some of these fruits. So we have apple. Apple should be firm in texture and smooth. And you store an apple in a cool, moist place or in a refrigerator in a plastic bag. So if you put an apple in the refrigerator, you should put it in a plastic bag. I didn't know that. Apricot yields to gentle pressure, plump, orange color apricot, refrigerated when ripe for 2 to 3 days, and warm to room temperature before eating. So you want it at room temperature when you eat an apricot. You don't want a cold apricot. Avocado yields to gentle pressure after ripening at room temperature. Store in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. Avocado. So you ripen it and then you store it for 5 days. Avocados, of course, if you cut them, you have to eat them. put them in guacamole or something. Sometimes you add citrus to that and it'll make them so they don't discolor. So bananas. It should be bright color without bruises or discoloration. You store them at room temperature and you refrigerate them if they're ripe, and the skin will darken. So blueberry. Plump and dry. Avoid packages with crushed or moldy fruit. Refrigerate it for 2 days for blueberry. You can put blueberries in the refrigerator for 2 days. Cantaloupe. Sweet aroma, heavy for size, golden skin. It gives slightly when you squeeze. It kind of like gives a little bit there. Cantaloupes. You refrigerate the whole melons up to 10 days or cut melons wrapped in plastic for 5 days. Cherries. Should be bright colors and plump and firm. You can refrigerate cherries up to a week and store them in a plastic bag or container. Grapes. Bright color, plump, attached. Refrigerate in the original package for up to 2 weeks. Leave grapes in their original package. Grapefruit. Firm, heavy for size, thin skin that is not loose or puffy. Brown markings on skin do not indicate poor quality for grapefruit. So if they have brown markings, it's okay. You store in the crisper drawer or for several weeks at room temperature. Or several weeks at room temperature for 1 week at room temperature. 1 week at room temperature. Grapefruits. Lemon. Bright color, smooth skin, heavy for size. Avoid loose, spongy skins on the lemons. Store in the crisper drawer refrigerator for up to a month. Lemon. Limes. They can be stored for up to a month too. They're bright colored and heavy for size, limes. Oranges. Bright colors, firm and heavy for size, and they get stored at the room temperature for 1 to 2 weeks. And you can store in the crisper drawer for up to a month. Oranges. Peach. Slightly firm, fresh, yellow, creamy. Store at room temperature until ripe, and when ripe, store in the refrigerator for 1 week. Pears. Firm color, ripe when fragrant, and yields to slightly pressure when you touch it. And you can ripen at room temperature, then refrigerate it up to a week. Pineapple. So sweet aroma at the bottom gives that are easily plucked. Yellow color, heavy for size, pineapples. You can store them at room temperature for up to 3 days and refrigerate the whole fruit. Refrigeration of the whole fruit is not recommended for pineapples. So if you cut the pineapples, they can be refrigerated for 3 to 5 days. Or make sure you wrap them in plastic if you cut the pineapple. Plums. Firm to slightly soft, correct color for variety. After ripening, plums can be refrigerated for 3 to 5 days. Strawberries. Bright red color, firm, dry cap. Refrigerator in their original package for 3 to 7 days. Watermelon. Firm, heavy for size, yellowish underside. Makes a hollow sound. Thump, thump, thump. If you thump, it makes a hollow sound. And you can refrigerate whole melons up to 10 days or cut melons and wrap them in plastic for 5 days. So those are our fruits. So now let's talk about garnishes. So garnishes basically are these edible decorations that we put on our plates, our foods, to make our plates look fancy or make them look more appetizing. A garnish should add interest to the plate, and it should contrast and complement the food. And the two most important reasons for garnishes are to add color and to add texture. But be sure that the garnish complements the flavor of the food without overpowering it or creating an unpleasant combination. For example, a chocolate-covered strawberry would not complement the flavors and appearance of a dinner plate with steak and potatoes. So a strawberry with potatoes and steak would not be a good combination. So make sure you have the right garnishes. The size and shape of a garnish are important too. So you keep the size of the garnish proportional to the size of the plate. So not a tiny garnish on a big plate or, a big garnish on a small plate. And the garnish should be should not distract from the food. So consider the shape as well. Like a cherry tomato garnish would not be good when you're serving meatballs because it would look just like a meatball, right? So you have to do something that will contrast the shape. instead of putting all round things on your plate. Do a variety, right? So it says, make sure for the sake of your guests, garnish plates using only edible items. Don't put other garnishes that are like plastic or something on for a garnish, or some little flower that you can't eat. Make sure anything that's on a plate that's a garnish that they can eat it, right? Don't put in like, oh, I'm just going to put this little, put this little sunflower on there. You can't eat sunflowers. Not a good garnish. So, tips and techniques. It says firm vegetables such as carrots are easier to work with when they're at room temperature. And it also says ice water will help a carrot curl after it has been cut. Some things. Heartier vegetable garnishes may be made a day in advance. It may stay fresh in the refrigerator up to 24 hours if you do a hearty. If you're doing the garnishes, most of them will last. You can fix them ahead of time. So, garnishes. Something to try. Making garnishes. So, this is the last part of this chapter. Something to try, making garnishes. Here's how to make carrot curls. You can see using a medium carrot and a vegetable peeler, peel the carrot, then make the lengthwise, and then you can curl it and fasten it to a toothpick. Right here's picture, carrot curls. Here's another garnish, crinkle cut vegetables using a crinkle cutter right here with cucumbers and firm vegetables for crinkles. Here's a cherry tomato flower. See how they did that? Hull each tomato and make 6 to 8 cuts across the tomato. Make it look like a flower. Pickle fan. Here's a pickle fan right here. Make several cuts lengthwise in the pickle and leave some space at the end to hold the slices together. Here's a strawberry fan. Make several cuts in the tip with the stem and do not cut through the stem, but press the slices apart in this form to make like a fan. Citrus twist. Slit a slice of citrus fruit from the center to the rind, like here. See how they're doing it? And you twist it, and then you can twist the two and make a citrus twist. And these would be really good. All of these would be really good to put on garnishes of certain plates. On a vegetable plate, you would put, like if you had steak or potatoes and use vegetables, and then pickles will go maybe with hamburgers or something like that or something. And then, of course, the fruit go good on some kind of fruit or dessert, right? Plates. So that's it. We're going to end this chapter. And then the next chapter we'll be going on to would be how do we add flavor to things?